Good morning. It's Deacon Don again. Today is May 12th, 2020, and it's the second day of the two-piece story that I wanted to be able to share with you concerning St. Paul in the Acts of the Apostles. Yesterday, we explored the idea of who it was that we were to follow, and it was clear that the one to really follow is Jesus Christ. Even in the midst of all the demands and the pressures that we have that demand our attention, the things that we face for our money, how do we spend it, our vote, the people that try to tell us how to think and how to conduct our lives, even amidst all those pressures, it's important to know who we are and who we really need to rely on. And that truly is Jesus Christ. I left you with a picture, a very beautiful picture of Jesus smiling as he invites each and every one of his potential apostles to follow me. Think of that. He asked us the same question every day. Follow me. And there's so much joy in that simple request, and yet it can be filled with so much hardship, can it? Face it, following Jesus Christ is not necessarily an easy proposition, and sometimes it's just downright hard. Today, in a wounded church, we find it disconcerting and difficult to follow Christ because so many of us say that we've lost or losing our faith, what they think is their faith, because of what's happened in the church. Today, we are disconnected because of pandemic, and people are having great difficulty of not being able to share the physical location, the physical closeness with other people. And they have difficulty with faith, I think, because of that. My goodness, it even snowed in May. Go figure, huh? Yeah, it's a difficult time. But it's not a time without hope. Look what happens to our friend St. Paul. Yesterday he was looked at as a god. He was deified because of the miracle that happened, that the Lord actually made happen through him. And he told these folks, don't look at me as a god. I'm just a human being. But they wouldn't listen. And yet, today, in the passage very much next written in the Acts, right after it, there are people who want to kill him. Today he finds himself openly stoned and tormented and beaten. Let me read you the next piece of the Acts of the Apostles, Acts chapter 14, 19 to 28, if you're interested in seeing it. In those days, Antioch and Iconium arrived and they won over the crowds, not in a good way. They stoned Paul and they dragged him out of the city, supposing that he was dead. But when the disciples gathered around him, he got up and he entered the city. And on the following day, he left with Barnabas and for Derbe. After they had proclaimed the good news to that city and made a considerable number of disciples there, they returned to Lystra and to Iconium and to Antioch. They strengthened the spirits of the disciples and exhorted them to persevere in their faith, saying, it is necessary for us to undergo many hardships to enter the kingdom of God. Yeah, I'd say that was pretty difficult. He was stoned. He was dragged out of the city and he was left to die. But yet, listen to him. There's so much joy, even through that persecution, because he knew his purpose. You know, churches are closed, and us trying to maintain our faith during this difficult time seems pretty inconsequential to what he faced, doesn't it? But today, I want to bring you a message of hope and of joy and of purpose. You see, God doesn't leave us alone. Never does. The only time we think he's not with us is when we're not listening. And let me tell you what the gospel says today. Let me read you a part of what happens in from John's Gospel, chapter 14, verses 27. He said, Jesus said to his disciples, peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give it to you. Do not let your hearts be troubled or afraid. You know, he's always present to us, always. Especially in the Eucharist, which I'm really hopeful we'll be able to share one-on-one once again very soon. So today, brothers and sisters, there's joy and there's purpose, which I really can't stress enough. Brothers and sisters, faith is not the buildings that we rely on. It's not the people that we want to lead us. It's not even the rules of our church that we want to be able to make sure we follow. It's all of those pieces for sure, but it is not what our faith is. Our faith is our personal relationship with Jesus Christ as we live it through our Catholic Church and in community with others. That's our faith. You know, it's hard to live your faith all by yourself, to do it alone, not without others to serve and not without others to support us. If we don't have that relationship, then we don't have a center or purpose inside of us, that purpose that's so important in our lives. The confusion that we all experience from time to time, and we all do, that confusion sometimes when we feel no direction is when we lose track of that relationship, that personal relationship that we have with God. You know, let's not forget the purpose and the meaning in our lives that God gives us. We're important to Him, and we have to remember that purpose is paramount to what we are, no matter who we are. There's a quote from St. John Henry Newman that I absolutely love that I want to share with you. You've probably heard it before. He said, "God has created me to do Him some definite service. He has committed some work to me which He has not committed to another. I have my mission. I may never know what it is in this life, but I shall be told it in the next. I am a part in a great work. I am a link in a chain, a bond of connection between persons. He has not created me for naught. I shall do good. I shall do His work. I shall be an angel of peace, a preacher of truth in my own place, while not even intending it, if I do but keep His commandments and serve Him in my calling." What a beautiful, beautiful thought and sentiment of reasons for our life. There's so much joy if we follow Him and push the confusion and the noise aside in our life and concentrate on what God's purpose is for us. You know, He gives us a purpose because we're very special to Him. And when we realize that, we will have a much, much happier and fulfilling life. God bless you all, and I hope to see you all in person very soon.